TenMarks is an online math program company. We've been in business for just a few years, maybe 2.5 years, selling to schools and districts. And our entire strategy is built around one fundamental concept, that we believe that we can have better outcomes when it comes to student scores, student learning, and math if we can have teachers leverage technology to reinforce what they're covering in the classroom rather than using technology to replace teachers. We don't buy into the idea that students can learn 100% math on their own. Our view is the teacher plays a very, very important role in the educational experience, and supported by technology, we will see the greatest impact that we can have. So if we think about why we built this company, and I started this company about 4 years ago, here's what we saw in the classrooms. Almost every teacher we talked to was covering a topic in class, let's say fractions. At the end of the topic being covered, he or she assigned some kind of assignment. Could be supplemental work, could be homework, could be a worksheet. The idea was to reinforce what I just covered. Makes logical sense. Well, here's the challenge. Most kids above the third grade don't have access to much help at home, right? As parents, I don't know if you've got kids, but anything over third, fourth grade, we start struggling, right? Expecting kids to flip open a textbooks when they're struggling doesn't happen, which means the kid fundamentally just muddles through the problem and guesses. And lastly, even with the best of teachers, with the level of feedback that they provide, the problem is the feedback reaches the students a couple of weeks, a couple of days, at least, on an average, a week to 10 days later, which means the classes moved on, the students moved on, the teachers moved on. TenMarks is being used by about 2 million students today, and we polled the students on how many of them actually used the feedback to do something about it. Interestingly, the only students who said yes were the ones who had better than 95% scores anyway. Right? That was the whole idea. And what we've done in the education system is relied more and more on assessment, which is great. Because every 4 to 6 to 8 weeks, teachers conduct formative assessments. We get a clear idea of exactly where the skill gaps are. And teachers come to us and say, that's all great, because now I can see where the gaps are, but what do I do with that? What next? I don't have time to deal with the individual gaps at a student-by-student level. If I did, we wouldn't have this problem to begin with, right? So, when we built the company, we built it around 3 or 4 key principles. One is around our belief that support must be embedded, right? It's the simple concept that while a student's doing the assignments, doing work on ratios, on fractions, on probability, algebra, whatever the case might be, why not help them succeed the first time around? Why wait for them to submit the results, fail, a week later tell them, you didn't get this right, go back and fix the problem? Why not help you, right? Second is, remediation must be immediate, right? When I'm actually, think about playing golf outside, I'm slicing to the right. The idea of getting my results 6 weeks later and telling me that I was slicing to the right is not helpful. What if there was a caddy who was actually helping me with my swing between the first and second tees, right? Isn't remediation while I'm in the moment of learning fractions, isn't that a lot more effective? That's our second principle. Third is differentiation is no longer an option, right? We're seeing teachers want to differentiate, they just don't have enough time. And it's not just the struggling students. As we work with more and more districts, people are telling us the bigger issue is also the enrichment students, right? Students that districts are losing to charters, to private schools and what have you, because we're not challenging them enough. So here's how TenMarks works in a nutshell. We are deeply aligned to the Common Core curriculum, to the point where we've unpacked every single standard. We've created question types to make sure the student's getting the right level of instruction. We are aligned to what a district's curriculum should be. A teacher logs in on TenMarks after covering a topic and simply assigns that. Now what we do is, while the student's working on the questions, one, the questions are picked to ensure mastery, but second, as the student's working on it, they have help available. They have hints, they have video lessons. Even with all of this, you're not going to see an amazing result. So we have interventions built in. So if out of 30 kids, 4 of them struggled with equivalency of ratios, it'll recognize where they're struggling, take them into intervention, try and address the foundational gaps, bring them back to the assignment, and try and do a do-over. Average increase, 28% between just this 30-minute loop. Amazing results. Assessments are built into the program. So we could use Mastery Connect's assessments, we could use our own assessments, we could use NWEA MAP, but the assessment results at the end of every unit personalize the curriculum for a student. So the teacher is teaching to the curriculum in the middle, but as the assessments happen at the end of the month, we take the data and now change the curriculum for individual students, so every student gets the core curriculum plus enrichment or differentiation, right? And we have huge amount of parent involvement, huge amount of data, if you can imagine, extremely powerful when it comes to results. So here's the impact that we're seeing. This is data from across 2 million students this school year, September through December. This is data for students who were given an assignment that they struggled with. We gave them an intervention and then brought them back. Average increase is about 28%. And this is within 30 minutes of an assignment. So that's pretty much what we wanted to cover. Deeply aligned to CCSS. I've barely got a minute left. Just some statistics on the company. We've been around for 4 years. We started providing this to schools and districts about 2 years ago. We have about 2 million students using the program today. Average use daily is more than 2 million questions. We have a unique freemium model where the teacher can use it at their grade level for free, but if they want to differentiate, the district pays us for the differentiated portions. And from an investment standpoint, we're backed by Catamount Ventures and Birchmere Venture Partners, along with a few strategic angels, and we are expected to be cash flow profitable by the end of the year. 28 seconds to go. Thanks.